Panharmonicon presents a podcast.
This stinks, system.
Did you just throw my cat out the window?
I don't think so. Did you?
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone.
How we doing, people?
How are we doing? What episode are we gearing up for? Is this 18 or is this 19? I know we're heading toward 20.
This is episode.
I think it's 19. Because I think
our release schedule isn't Weapons going to come before this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another.
This will be 19.
I guess Weapons will be 19. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because they're doing Grand. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's
I
find
wasn't
another
even
way
paying
to open. Thanks, David. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Panharmonicon Studios presents
A podcast.
Yes. So it is. Actually, it's three of us here today. Well, it's always three of us, but we have our producer and our good buddy Andrew on.
They gave me a microphone. Can you believe it?
It took almost 20 episodes, but we finally scrounged up enough
Yes.
to get a third mic in here.
Oh yeah. Slowly but surely, you'll see different equipment, over the course of the next couple decades, introduce itself here, and then maybe one day we'll catch up to modern times.
But also the thing not recorded was, 2 hours it took us to figure out how to get all three?
Which, all the props to you guys. I feel like I was just here
So
asking stupid questions.
don't expect a fourth anytime soon. unless you want to wait a couple of months before we figure that part
we
out.
need a whole IT team for that, man. Just somebody who could. So one day we'll have it. But yeah. So today we did want to try something a little bit different, and we'll see how this goes, and maybe it just becomes how we do things. But we wanted to, bring on somebody that we're close with, a friend of ours, and them give us a movie to watch that we haven't watched, and so today, if you haven't already looked at the title card, Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson. And I've not seen it. I think, honestly, this might be my first Wes Anderson film.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of weird to say.
It's my second behind Rushmore.
Okay.
I watched the one where the kids go to camp. I forget what that was, like Moonrise Kingdom? Something
I
like
believe
that.
that is, yeah.
Is that another one with Edward Norton?
Yes, I think he, and then of course
Bruce
Bill Murray's
Willis,
there,
isn't it?
or
Isn't he?
Bruce. Yeah, I think they might both be
Time to get out the old phone.
busting out.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this is one of your favorites.
Grand
One of your,
Budapest Hotel. Yes, it's one of those films that just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. So it's just a nice thing to watch, just to feel okay about the world, just because of how just visually delightful the movie is.
It is very visually delightful. There are, I know I said I left my notes at home, but there was a particular shot in that movie that I wrote a note about that I wanted to talk about. But I do love how you say that it just kind of makes you feel better about the world, or even though it's so goofy. I shouldn't say goofy in its presentation, but its presentation is so different from how a lot of modern films does it, and I love Wes Anderson's approach, but the content of it is not necessarily warm and fuzzy. So is it really kind of like the visuals that make you feel
Yeah, it's
warm
just
and fuzzy?
I guess it's all those like big shot, like especially when they're at the monastery, like when it's just like Zero and Mr. Gustav like on that really long pier thing, like just that is such a really nice. I had it as a background for my desktop for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good shot for it.
There's it's so interesting how he shoots things in those long, like, sort of establishing shots, because I forget if this was, I think it's maybe before they hit the monastery, or maybe you're on their way there, but they're on the trolley, they're on the cable cars, and the cable car's going up, and the other cable car meets, and they like basically like perfectly overlap, and then they get off. And there's so much about the set design that make me think like Silent Hill. Not Silent Hill, silent film. Like talking,
I was like, what?
Totally
That's
different.
crazy.
Right? But silent film era, where like just again the set design of what Anderson is using and how it's employed just very much reminds me of it, and it's so cool.
Yeah, like using all the space that they have.
Yeah.
I guess kind of on screen.
It was so visually striking to me, like almost immediately, that it made me like I stopped because I was like, there's something I am seeing, but I'm not understanding. My brain's not telling me immediately what it is that I'm like seeing and what I'm trying to recognize. So I was like, I'm gonna do kind of a semi deep dive into like Anderson's actual directing style.
Yeah.
It started initially with me just listening to the dialogue, because it felt like everyone was just like kind of going like super fast, like bing bang boom boom boom.
Yeah.
And I know I've pointed at that kind of being a negative in some films before. I think it was in the Batman films where I was like, they're just going bing bing bang bang boom. But in this case, it almost made sense in a way, as like people of that time in that area in that era might actually talk like that, especially if it's a theatrical production, which 100% this film feels like.
Yeah.
It felt like instead of watching a movie, I was actually just watching a theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, I got to figure this out, like his production. And the immediate thing that came when I started looking it up was symmetry. And I was like, yes, that is what my brain is noticing that I'm just not able to like put into words immediately is symmetry. Like he focuses insanely on every shot being extremely symmetrical.
Yes.
It's like there are times where there's asymmetrical like parts, but for the most part, if it's a set shot, if there's one person, there needs to be another person. They'll be relatively the same size unless he's trying to make a point of something, like later on in the prison when Monsieur Gustave is looking at the super tall dude. But for the most part, he tries to make everybody equal. If there are 4 people, 2 need to be on one side, 2 need to be on the other side. If and then there are shots like there's the shot of a chandelier that we like do like a rising shot of, and it stays perfectly in the middle with its chain being directly in the middle of the screen throughout the entire like upward tracking shot.
Wow.
You know, so I guess, and how we're talking about the film, just I guess it's just a heads up, we might be jumping like all over the place. But I only say that just 'cause this part is like towards, I think maybe like late middle, early sort of third act. But to your point about the symmetry, when Gustav I guess it's just Gustav, not Zero. But when Gustav is imprisoned, the prison beds right in that room are 3 stacks on either side, right? So you have 3. But when they were going down that hole, there was a point where they lift up another hole and they look down and there's the security guards. And now when you're talking about symmetry, I'm trying to remember when the security guards look up at Gustav and the gang, is it 6 of them looking down or is it 5 of them that are looking down at the guards?
At that point, I think there's 6 of them, because the room that room with the 6 bunks is his room. So there were 6 of them in there.
Yeah.
And by that point, I think originally 5 of them start the descent, and then the 6th dude comes down like a dumbbell elevator and joins them. And I think he's also the one that jumps down into the hole to like Pink, and I think he's the one that kills all the guards.
Yeah.
And even that part, like when he kills the guards and then he finally dies, even they are set up in a way to like be symmetrical.
Well, because I was wondering, because I think when he goes down and he's kind of like just sacrifices himself, and he's like, I guess you would call that a draw. I thought that there was 4 of them up there, and I'm like, I wonder if that was Wes Anderson just trying to push that like symmetry more, where literally there's 5 of them. That's an odd number. So this guy's got to sacrifice himself. So that way we can get to
actually to your point. I do think it. No, there are 5 of them.
Okay.
Because when Pinky sacrifices himself, there are 4, and then they continue on. Because when they get on the bus, only 3 of them.
I was trying to do the math.
Yeah, so there's 5 of them.
Damn, and then even that is then further distilled down to 2 when it's just Zero and Gustav.
Right.
And
Such an interesting film.
His other big thing was like color theory to some degree. Like his movies are very vibrant, and you can see that like immediately in this movie, just how bright and vibrant and colorful it was. It was like looking at like a rainbow.
But, you know, and it's the colors are so bright, but even colors that you don't expect to be bright and vibrant are made bright and vibrant, like browns. Hues in the movie seem to
very
be
like lush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like interesting.
It's like he was in like Photoshop and he like just turned all the saturation up to like near top notch. But I want to hear more about what our guest thinks about the movie. So the only thing I will put is what I usually say. It came out in 2014, I believe. And it had March 2014, $25 million budget, $174 million box office.
Wow.
So it definitely made its money back in more.
Yeah.
It was distributed by Fox Searchlight, which I think is their like, at that time was their like more independent niche brand. Crazy that Wes Anderson had to be a part of that, considering what he had all done beforehand. But yep, so Andrew, from top to bottom, how many Wes Anderson movies have you seen?
I think it's just this and Moonrise Kingdom. I
Okay.
feel like we said it earlier, but I can't remember the name. Because I don't think I ever saw Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I think I would probably resonate. Because I think it's a heist movie, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So the Ocean's 11 man in me would probably love that.
And I was kind of thinking to myself through this movie, I was like, he would make a great Ocean's 11 type.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
true.
Yes.
Especially like, because it seems he's got like an in with a whole bunch of people that just join his movies anyway.
Yeah.
So like having that ensemble cast, I think would just work super well. But so where does Grand Budapest rank just in your movies?
Oh, in my movies, it's definitely top like 3, which is why I picked it. Because, I mean, knock on wood, this might take us a while, but definitely want to do Fast and Furious. And Tokyo Drift is, I guess not ironically, but
No,
my top.
Yeah, it would be. I would think it would be ironic for specifically that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Are you saying that Tokyo Drift is your number 1 movie?
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Of, like, all
it's-
time?
I think of all time. Like, if I had a gun to my head, ketchup smoothie to my lips.
So that's just gave me the shiver me timbers, man. Sent shivers down my spine. I do not like ketchup. So now I know that your top movie of all time, Tokyo Drift, Grand Budapest Hotel, 2nd or 3rd?
I would say 3rd just to not pigeonhole myself.
Okay.
'Cause
And you said yours is Black Dynamite. Your top is
My
Black
number
Dynamite.
1 is Black Dynamite.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
We're
it's
learning.
just like not only like when I watched it, but like just the vibrancy and just like the visuals of it, I think have just like imprinted on my brain in a positive way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just, I don't know if it's the rose colored glasses or what, but it's just something that it's like, and I don't watch it frequently, I guess is the other thing. So maybe it's still got like that little sweet taste on it, but yeah, it's definitely up there.
It seems like it would be a fun movie to be labeled, like to just go back to like every so often.
Yeah.
Because it's like honest to goodness, is a palate cleanser. Like I caught myself so many times thinking about like how this movie was standing out, and then I realized like it's more so that like movies have changed.
Yeah.
And it's like it isn't like the movies of today. And I was like, this works.
Yeah.
And then we had to go see Weapons. So that brought it right back.
Yeah.
But would you do the honors, since one of us usually does it, of giving a short synopsis on this
Oh,
movie?
sure. Oh, wow. I should have done some notes and studied. So the 2 main stories of this film is a writer staying at the titular Grand Budapest Hotel when he was mid-20s, 30s. Is that kind of?
I want to say he's like pretty young, like
Yeah.
early mid
Are you talking
20s.
about the reporter? Or are you talking about
Like the writer.
We're talking
Zero?
yeah, Jude Law.
Oh, Jude Law.
Mm.
Oh, is he supposed to be in his like 20s? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I think so. It's hard to tell how old he's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
If he's just supposed to be Jude Law's age at that time, or if he's
He's playing Jude Law. But so it's that writer stays at the Grand Budapest Hotel as a sort of writing retreat to, I believe, fight some wasting disease or intellectual wasting disease or something like that. And then he runs into the owner of the establishment and strikes up a conversation with him. And then Zero invites him to dinner just as like a, hey, if you're not being just merely nice, I would love to tell you like the story of how I got the Grand Budapest Hotel, and kind of turns into the story of his life as well. And so there's kind of these two, I guess it's an A and then a A.5 plot, where once we get to this dinner, we get kind of the explanation of how Zero came to be and how he got millions, but then only ended up with the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah. And it's pretty much just like ultimately you think that, I guess there are two protagonists. So you have like you have Zero, who is, I don't know if the story itself dictates him as being the protagonist or if he's the protagonist, but Monsieur Gustave, the original concierge, the concierge before him, I don't want to call him the original concierge, but the concierge of the Grand Budapest Hotel before him, is kind of seen as like the main protagonist of the story, and it's more it becomes his story with Zero's intertwined until it then fully just becomes Zero's story.
Right.
And it's interesting in a way because you'd want to say like how are there times where Zero knows what's happening when he's not a part of anything, but then you find out, I guess toward the end really, that at one point Gustav sits him down and like tells him his information and his story. So it's a story of two people who ran a hotel, both at one point owned it, and I guess we get to see that through their lenses to Jude Law. And the Arthur, I don't think he ever has a name. His name is, I think it's just the Arthur.
Yeah.
Right. The Arthur is supposedly based off of a real person, Stefan Zweig.
Oh.
Who's, if you, maybe at the beginning of the credits or the end, I can't remember. I don't know why I think modern movies make me watch through credits now, waiting for like an additional scene. Yeah. But movie is in part dedicated to him, saying that the stories are based off of his stories. Stefan Zweig was a Austrian Arthur from the silent generation. He was born in the 1880s, died in like the 40s. He was I guess he was pretty prolific, and people like at his like peak, he was like the most translated and read author of his time.
Really?
Yeah, and considering like I think there are people like Agatha Christie and I'm blanking on a couple of other people. The dude who wrote Sherlock Holmes. And considering that they were all around as well during that exact same time frame, for him to be the number one is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
He did a lot of like biographical work, but he also did fictional work, and I think it's his fictional stories that the Grand Budapest is based off of. Apparently Wes Anderson was a big fan of his, and also happened to like do like a trek through Europe, and that is also a big inspiration for this film.
Yeah,
which makes a lot of sense when you look at it, and why it's based off of like just a random place in Europe. I think the story is set in 1932 or something like that. So it's bringing itself to the point of World War II. And we can see that through this like fictional other country that seems to be trying to like take over in Zabroska, which I think is the name of the country, right? And so we're dealing with themes of like fascism, racism to some degree, the way that they treat Zero, war, but it's also a story of love. It's a story of passions. It's a story of loyalty. Yeah. It's a story of a lot of things that you would think would not be able to overcome all the negative parts that are being portrayed, but it does. And it's crazy because it ends in sadness, but still has like a positive vibe to its ending. It's like I never at any point am I sitting there like, man, this is just making me feel down. Yeah. Never at any point in the movie. It's like it's always just kind of upbeat to some degree. Super colorful, and like I said, it seems like he's a big fan of color theory. Like how you see those like kind of like bright colors all the way up until the point of Gustav being imprisoned, and then all of a sudden like your color palette switches to just like grays, blacks, dull whites, beiges, and that even when you're going to like other characters, like when Zero comes back to himself and things like that, you're still seeing him in like darker clothing, like almost denoting that like this is a sad time for all of them until the point where they like get back out. And then even though his color palette still doesn't really change until the very end, everything does feel brighter again. And I think people have done like studies on color theory just based off this movie. Really? I think people have just done studies of this movie in general. And as people who like are trying to write stories like that, it'd be great to have someone eventually want to do like an actual sit down study of like artworks. It'll maybe eventually happen, but it'd be cool to have it happen.
That would be really cool. It reminds me of like the like theory papers and things that we had to do with like back in college, and a lot of times, of course, it's not a topic that you want to do, so there's not as much passion in it, and so to like to be able to target that and be something that you want to do would be super awesome. You had mentioned something about like the movie kind of being steeped in sadness, but it also kind of gives you this sense of optimism. You said that as well, like it kind of like brightens you up a little bit. And I do think that's super interesting because you're right. Like you don't sit there watching, you recognize that very sad things are happening, but it's also one, the beat at which it happens and like the tone that he applies to it. But it's also kind of just like some of the sad things that happens is just like kind of like the beauty of life, that things change. You grow up and you become wiser and you just kind of find your way in life, and sad things happen, but also like amazingly beautiful things happen where it seemed like neither Zero or Gustav had family, but found family in each other, and they started to develop this surrogate thing. And even though it kind of seems like ultimately the time that you wanted Zero and Gustav to have together, you wanted that to just kind of just go on forever, and like it couldn't, because nothing can. But just the fact that they had the opportunity to know each other at all is amazing. And then I feel like you kind of get to see that parts of Gustav went on and lived on with Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then also to that point too, someone we forgot to mention is Zero's wife Agatha, who is a baker at the local, I guess like semi-famous, like locally the baker, Mendel's. Because like it's the same thing of, we know, like we see him by himself, so we know that she's no longer there.
Right.
But then like all of this story is also kind of like a love story of how they met, and like all the beautiful stuff that they shared together. Like, because it's to the found family point, that's what it was. Like, I don't know if it's ever explained if she's an orphan or whatever, but like they don't really
explain like her past like too much. Just kind of that she just came about, and Mendel took her under his wing. And yeah, even like, I mean, the Agatha story is really like I was very saddened by the way that it ended, because like at first he kind of talked on, like when he first brought her up and he's like, I don't really want to continue going down that path, and you're like, oh, okay. And then he brings her up again, and he's like at this point crying, and he realized he was crying, and you're like, oh man. And then like you eventually find out that they even set up like a red herring, like a false at one point. And at that point I was like, oh man. But then it turned out it wasn't her that got killed, and I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, are you talking about when, I forget Edward Norton's character, but when he's reading the headline in the newspaper?
Yeah, local girl.
Yeah, dude, I was like, yeah. Especially that way. But that's the shots that you were talking about. That's one of the shots with Agatha is what I mentioned before, that I thought was just incredible.
Oh, the kaleidos, like where it's her and then it's all the lights behind.
Yes, dude, that shot. I had to like pause it and then like go back and rewatch it a couple times, because I don't know, it was just something about it just made me feel really warm and fuzzy.
Yeah,
the moving lights behind her, and
just like the carnival noise or like music, like the merry-go-round.
Yeah, no, that was such a cool scene. And the whole and so to get back to I was saying, and then eventually you find out that she does pass away shortly after the two got married and had a son, and even the son died leaving. And so basically he collected a family, and then he was back to being by himself. But instead of wallowing in pity, he just took running the Grand Budapest Hotel a little bit more seriously, and then left it basically solely to himself, and said he got rid of all the rest of his riches in a way, but never got rid of the Grand Budapest Hotel, because that's his in a sense that's his monument to Gustav, to Agatha, and to his child. And you're okay, you brought me back to not being as sad as I just was when you just said that all these people died.
Right.
Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, I feel like I know exactly what you mean, in that there is that sadness there, and you wanted things that I always want, just the best for those people. When you're watching these films, you're like, no, I want you to be able to thrive. And when you see those relationships dissolve, not because they wanted them to, but because you got shot, or because there was a disease that ran rampant and killed your wife and child, that's not the way I want it to go. But that this person still smiles, and that they share that story with the author, with Jude Law's character, with a smile on their face. And yes, he cries, but it's just kind of accepting the beauty, the ugliness, and everything that is ambivalent about life, and just being it's life. Just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did our synopsis, just to get into some of the other kind of scenes. Well, first off, let's talk about this cast, because this cast was kind of crazy. When the poster itself is just 17 different faces, and you're yep, all these people are in this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's basically centered around Gustav and Zero, right? And then you get these other kind of, I almost want to call them cameos, but some people are in it longer than what I would call a cameo. So Tilda Swinton, for instance, I don't know if I would call her a cameo, because she's kind of central to the plot of the story, even though she's not always in it.
Adrian Brody's character, I think, is also playing Willem Dafoe Jopling. I think is his name.
And then eventually you just get to the true cameos of Bill Murray popping up, or Owen Wilson.
Yep.
I forget who plays Serge, but
yeah, dude, I forget his name. I also forget where I've seen him before. That's
what I'm it's so familiar, right? I was I know him, but I'm trying to remember where he's from. Then you had Edward Norton just popping up, not being Edward Norton. So what you were saying, kind of before we were recording, I was soon as Edward Norton was the first one for me, where I was oh, we're not doing accents, because it felt like everyone was, and I guess everyone was just of their nationality, so they spoke the way they spoke. But then Edward Norton pops up and he's I'm AJ Hinkle,
and there's nothing. Especially because the guy who's the officer that was interrogating them and talking to them right before Edward Norton stepped in has this accent that you would expect.
So he's a French actor, Serge Matthew Amalric. That's butchered, but maybe Quantum Solace.
Quantum Solace, I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. He was the main bad guy in Quantum Solace.
Oh, there you go.
As soon as I saw, I was no, I remember this guy, but
yeah, dude. Sometimes when that happens, it just hurts. I guess I also need to stop acting like I don't have the technology to be able to just Google it and figure it out. But I'm sitting here.
It's
watching,
you want to beat Google sometimes.
That's true.
You want to be no, Google. It's in here somewhere in the back of my brain. I just need to access the file.
You want to use me.
And it's getting too easy to use Google nowadays. But such an ensemble, such a varied cast. Truly, no one uses accents who does not. If they're American, they're just American.
Yep. Man, they are who they. And it's interesting because it's so many huge names and faces that you've seen throughout all these different properties, and some of those are only used for just a couple minutes. And I always think that's interesting. That is because in other films you would think that typically those roles would just be filled by people that you typically haven't seen before or aren't as big, but to just use Bill Murray for 3 minutes is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's that. It's not young Bill Murray, but it's not he was kind of coming back a little bit during that time, right?
I mean, Bill Murray's Bill Murray. Bill Murray can just come back whenever he wants. I feel like he's that kind of influence where he's
got staying power.
Yeah, dude, he can just pull a Houdini, come back whenever he wants, disappear.
He does disappear a lot. But to have like the main people be like not the big names, and to just have all the big names be people that just kind of pop in and out.
But do you think Ralph? How do
I will say Ralph
last name? Fiennes.
I'm not saying he's a small time, but I'm saying like he definitely in himself could be like a draw in any movie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially at that point, he would have been. I mean, it's Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
There's pretty sure he was in Schindler's List, and there was I don't want to say it's not to call it the contemporary, but there's like a bunch of other films. His filmography is pretty good. I wonder if whoever directed, I forget the name of the director of the like Far From Home, Homecoming, Spider-Man movies, watching this movie and it was like, there's my Flash Thompson. There he is.
It is interesting because I mean he's like been in a lot of Wes Anderson films. Like he's known primarily as being connected to Wes Anderson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I never realized that. I didn't realize that. But also, for me,
I think this is like one of his like first movies.
Oh, so just because 2014 it is 11 years ago now, and it's not like we were spring chickens. I mean, you were.
He was. I think he's only like
18
or something in this movie.
Yeah, dude.
It's just really cool. Saoirse, I believe, who played Agatha. I think she did a pretty good job.
Yeah, sure. I would have never, if I had never seen that clip of her, I think telling Conan O'Brien how to pronounce her name, I would never have guessed.
Oh, what is it?
Saoirse
Ronan.
Saoirse, something like that. Yeah.
That's what it is. And then of course, like we didn't see him yet, but Willem Dafoe, who just like kind of like the first time when I saw him in the movie, I was like, what is Willem Dafoe doing? Because he like had like, I guess he was supposed to have like an underbite. So,
it was just so Green Goblin. It was very
yeah, dude. Like he had his canines there are super pronounced. He's actually like part of something I wrote in my notes. It was one of my favorite scenes. Is when he's petting that cat.
Yes.
Dude.
Did you throw my cat out the window?
When he
What?
did it,
Oh,
like
I don't
when
think
he
so.
like I thought it was his because he had been petting
Yes,
it,
yeah.
and then he like looked at him, and then he looked at Jeff Goldblum, and he just threw it, and then like people weren't immediately reacting. Then I was like, was that Jeff Goldblum's cat? He said, did you just throw my cat?
Dude, it was the perfect delivery. The way that he just averts his gaze for just a moment, looking at the sister still sitting there, and then back at the window, like, did he? Because just like you, dude, I was like, I guess that's just Willem Dafoe's cat. I mean, it's just Jopling's cat.
It was so. And then when he like chased Jeff Goldblum, throughout,
Dude, that was so funny. And another amazing shot when it's just the silhouette of Deputy Kovacs, but his glasses are like distinct against his face.
it
but
did that
it's
like
just-
anime like highlight the just the white glasses
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the black
Like,
background.
oh, dude, this is so cool and such a funny chase scene.
Yeah. And there's just so like all the comedic timing in this movie is just, I think, just adds, because I think we were talking about it like when the police come to arrest Mr. Gustav for, I guess this is, part of the synopsis, but Madame D gets killed or poisoned, and so they think it's Gustav, so they come to arrest him, and then it's just like, you're under arrest. There's just a beat, and then he just runs away. Like there's no like, oh, I was here, here's my alibi.
Yeah.
He's just, let's get the
Which
fuck
I
out
thought
of here.
was crazy. I was like, there was no due process.
Yeah.
They did not do
Yeah.
any type of like investigating before they came to this conclusion. He was like, someone told us you did it, so we're just gonna say you did it.
It seems like somebody in the family just pointed them. They didn't like Gustav, pointed the police in his direction, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, that tracks."
Because I think they had Serge. I think
Oh, that's right.
thing
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Serge.
Serge
Yeah,
was
Serge,
just like,
yeah.
oh,
It was just weird to me. It was like he just had to travel by train to get here.
yeah.
There's no way he could have gone back and done this.
Within what, a day or something?
Yes.
Like, it was like
Yep.
it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, you did it. Let's arrest you real quick.
I do love how, and this is I think something else that we had talked about just before we started recording. Just the camera usage, for the most part, it is just like tilts and pans. If the camera's going to move, that's all it is. There's not going to be like tracking shot. Well,
there are a couple.
Yeah, but like he does it a lot differently than what you would imagine. Like I guess than what we see in movies like Children of Men. It's not something like that. But in that scene that you refer to, where Gustav runs away, the camera never moves, and it's just square on, and you just see all of the action happening, and it gets pushed further and further and further into the background. And Zero is just like moving from pillar to pillar, like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's like, I guess he just isn't a fan of using those shots or something, like, until he has to. And I think he does it when he needs to actually like convey like movement in a way, which works perfectly for me. Like he had so many just like still on shots, and then he would just use cuts, which I think worked perfectly fine. Like the chase down the monastery, which was goofy because it was so CGI, but it didn't matter. CGI. And they were moving so fast. Yeah. But having like full on normal conversation between the two.
Gotta be going like 90 miles an hour just to get that speed.
But like he would just sit on like them in the sled just talking, and then if he needed to convey movement he would just cut, and then it'd be just them.
Yep. Which even then is just like a static shot, like overhead aerial shot, and you just see a little dot goes in this direction and the other one follows, and that's so it's which I think lends more to that how you guys have brought up the sort of theatrical feel of the film, because obviously you're not going to see chase scenes done like you would see in Children of Men or any of those other films in a theater, in a play, right? So he does his best to kind of convey that with those static shots, which are so cool.
Yeah, that was. I don't. It's funny because I think it calls itself a dramedy, but it is much more just a comedy.
Yeah.
Like, and like at no point does it feel like tensions are ever actually really raised. Even when like Willem Dafoe's off killing people, like every time he kills somebody, you're just like, oh, yeah, you got him. Like he just closed that door, so like not really like hard or anything. It's just like, but somehow all four of
fingers
got chopped off.
Because there doesn't seem to be like consequences for him killing people or cats. Because it's just like, oh, here's a bag of your dead cat from Kojak. It's like, what?
Which he ultimately, after that whole journey, just tosses in the garbage.
Yes, so disrespectful to the cat.
I mean, he didn't. I think maybe Kovacs knew he was done for, but like when he was just like in the train and he like saw, and he's like in the window just shaking.
Dude, I was just about to say that. I was like, dude, that part made me laugh so hard. Just to look at the dude who you saw throw your cat at the window, and the only retort you have is holding up a bag of your dead cat. As if it's like, dude, I'm sorry, just that mannerism gave me, oh, hey, I paid this dude to do my laundry, and he mixed some colors with my whites, and now my underwear is pink. It's like, no, dude, that's a dead cat, and he's just shaking it like it's dirty laundry that didn't get cleaned well.
And also, like, that, like, why were, like, his glasses didn't really fit? They were, like, kind of pushed too far, like, like, in. So, like, they made, like, a weird magnification, like, look on his, like, eyes.
Kovacs.
Yeah. It's just so goofy. As soon as he showed up, I was like, oh, that's Jeff Goldblum doing in this movie.
Did you find yourself doing that a lot as you were watching it?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you, I mean, I guess when the first time you saw it, did you find yourself doing that a lot where you were like, and him?
Yeah, for sure. Because like you guys are saying, they're just like such little, I hate to call them bit parts, but they're just like, oh, here's a little treat. Like, here's the Society of Keys.
The Society of Keys was crazy.
Dude, right?
I wasn't expecting that part.
And then every time, like, I think that part, there was maybe one person during that exchange that I was like, oh, that person's pretty big for just a small part. And there were a couple others that I know I've seen before in media. I think, I don't know this guy's name, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this actor in Seinfeld. I think he was like the head of NBC. He played in Seinfeld or something like that. I forget his name, but he was one of the guys who got the call, and he's like, oh, I may be able to do this. Hold on, I'll make a call. And then
was it the dude, like the older dude in like the blue?
I feel like there's a lot of old dudes in that scene.
There were a lot of. But I mean, like I think he was like kind of like balding. Like,
yes. Yeah, wore glasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think that's him. Yeah.
Bob Balaban.
He's got a lot of B's and A's in his name.
My
Dude,
name's
that's
Bob
kind of
Balaban.
crazy when you think about it. He's got 3 B's and he's got 4 B's. 4 B's, 3 A's. It took me a while to analyze that. What? Anyway, yeah, so Bob Balaban's in it. Who? Oh, yeah. Tom Wilkinson. Dude, I forgot Tom Wilkinson was in it. He leads off the film, and I guess I just totally forgot because it never comes back to him.
Yeah. Well, it does
At the end,
very end.
at the very end,
Because like they
he's
do,
the
like,
author. Like he's the older version of the author.
Yeah, like all the different time jumps. So we start with the girl paying homage to him because he's dead, and then it goes to him like introducing the book, and then it's him as a young man.
I didn't. How
and
did
then you
I
go
didn't-
in again
Dang.
to the zero life.
Speaking of which, that scene when he was, I don't know, I guess he was like starting to narrate, and the kid comes in with the gun, and the
Yeah,
kid comes
he's
back
like,
and
"Hey, stop it,
apologizes.
stop
He's
it."
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I feel like that's such a good setting of like the comedic tone of the movie too, because it's just like that sort of silly stuff that just happens throughout. And then I guess another one of my favorite parts is when Joplin gets pushed off and he's like, "Oh, you got him!" Like because Mr. Gustav was like accepting his death and like doing his poetry. He's like, "Oh my god."
Joplin's a terror, man.
Yeah, wow.
That dude is a straight up terror.
With his like mini rings, I couldn't tell if they were mini rings or if he
I
had
think it
like
was
brass
supposed to be
knuckles.
brass knuckles, but they were like special brass knuckles. Like they had
man,
something
yeah.
on them. I think like skulls or
Dude,
maybe.
that punch had to hurt, which is another just very, the comedic timing in this is just so perfect.
Yeah.
The scene where they're at the funeral, and who throws the first punch? Is it Adrian Brody's character throws the first punch,
Yeah.
knocks out Gustav,
Yeah.
and then Zero
Zero.
responds. It's Brody, and then Joplin. It's
These are all just like perfect one hit.
just one hit KOs, dude.
Just
Which
one and done.
Joplin's I can totally understand because he's got those rings. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised that Zero's punch would be.
I mean, if you're a lobby boy, I'm sure you're picking stuff up and putting it
I
down.
guess that's fair, yeah.
I also liked his progression. How like he was drawing in a little pencil mustache.
Yeah.
And then like as he got older, like he was eventually like gaining a mustache till he got old and then was able like full bearded up.
I totally thought that when I first saw him before I realized that he'd drawn that on, I thought that was just his mustache. I was shocked when he just took that colored pencil and he just drew it straight across, man. Which is also like a very interesting design to go by if you're gonna make your own mustache.
Just a really thin line.
Just one line right across the top lip. You didn't think to add anything else?
One dude, what's his name? That's like known for his pencil mustache.
Is he a creepy looking dude?
Yeah.
Like Google Mr. Pencil Mustache. Do you think it'll come up?
What is his name? He's got like he's like very pale skin. Did he host something that was horror related?
I want to say so.
Oh my gosh, who is that guy? This is gonna hurt because I don't even know like the show
Yeah, I don't
to
either.
pinpoint that.
Because I know like Vincent Price used to kind of also have a pencil mustache, and I think this dude based his off of like.
Maybe that's who I was thinking about to begin with. Is Vincent Price? Oh, that's not as thin wispy as I thought it was. His
Clark
got some
Gable?
meat to it. It's got some density.
Little Richard. The International Pencil Mustache Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Don't know if I want to click on that.
Well,
Yeah, you
that picture,
do.
that
You do.
picture is the guy that I'm talking about.
Oh, really?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
John
Oh my God.
Waters.
John Waters, yeah.
Oh, he was in the Lonely Island music video with the creep. There we go.
Don't forget to smile.
I'm sorry, man. That. How do you have friends like when you look like that? Like, I guess I just can't see myself.
Yeah, I'm sure John Waters was like the nicest guy.
Oh, yeah.
probably
I
love
don't
the guy.
doubt that. But like, how do you get past that barrier?
I don't really feel like Little Richard had
Yeah.
like
I
a-
don't think that either.
Well, it's like kind of thin. But I feel like
Is
it's
you Little Richard?
better located than John Waters. because it just looks more like an actual mustache.
I think John Waters got
Price
just
there?
too much space between his
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
his
Yeah.
lower lip and his nose.
Right. You can
So I'm
see how
sorry,
thin
say
his
that
lips
again?
are.
Or like I think the space in between his nose and his upper lip is just too big.
Yeah, that's
That's
a lot
why
of
I
real
think
estate,
he's got
dude.
like that's why I think Little Richards doesn't look as like thin because I think he's just got that smaller space.
Yeah, dude, he's got.
Like he could have like 3 mustaches across his face
Whole pencil
with like
case.
lines in between them.
It makes me think of Jumanji with the rock, the one welcome to Jumanji or welcome to Jumanji,
jungle
welcome to the
or
jungle,
something.
whatever it was, because they have the 3 bars on their arm that indicates the lives that they have. But
yeah.
but John Waters just has 3 mustaches, and every time he dies,
Losing
one
one
goes
of them.
away.
He's on his last one right now.
He's on his last mustache.
Once that's gone, he dies.
Just evaporates.
It's like the Green Ranger's green candle. Once
Oh, damn,
once it goes all the
dude.
way down, he loses his powers.
Oh man. But yeah, so the Grand
Grand Budapest
Budapest,
Hotel.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
had to take that little mustache aside.
We had to figure it out. It was very important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like once we bring something up, it just needs to be concluded so we can get back to what we were
Exactly.
doing
Yeah.
beforehand. Because if it's left hanging, we're just gonna sit here and keep thinking about it until somebody says something.
Till we die, man.
See, we just did it again.
There you go.
But yeah, so Grand Budapest Hotel, I really, really enjoyed this movie more than I thought I would.
Really?
And plus, and I think also it really helped that it wasn't very long. Like, in addition to how fast they were talking, it never really gave you like a sit, breathe. It was just kind of scene. But it was also enjoyable that I was just sitting there like, oh, okay, well, I enjoy this. And then like it got to the end, I was like, oh, I actually kind of want more. But
Funny how
I
that
think
happens,
the
huh?
story it gave was such a good, fun. It was not a fun story. It actually is not a fun story at all.
Yeah.
But it's told in such a fun manner that I had no problems with it. And I, at this point, ready to watch some more Wes Anderson stuff.
No.
I want to see Moonrise. I want to see Isle of Dogs. Mr. Fox.
I meant to ask if Isle of Dogs is Wes Anderson as well. So that because I saw a clip of that recently and I was like, this feels very Wes, but I also didn't know if it was just Wes Anderson inspired.
That's true.
And so yeah, okay, that's good to know. Yeah, dude, we're gonna have to do a Wes.
Let's say we could do some more Wes
Dude,
Anderson.
let's do
man.
some more Wes Anderson, man. You know, oh shit, dude, what was I about to say? I'll make sure to edit this out.
I got you.
There was something about oh yeah, dude, it was there was like certain moments that Gustav had, like Ralph finds like his acting in it. It just cracked me up so much. There was just like 2 scenes in particular. One, I guess I don't technically know if this was like an anachronism. It's just some of the terms that he used when he called, I think he was calling Pinky a candy ass. Like, I didn't
They
know
were
Pinky
using
that
candy
they
ass
were
like
a
crazy.
lot.
I was like, damn. What?
Like, because when I hear candy ass, I think about The Rock.
It's the only person I know.
Candy ass, like jabroni.
Only person I know in the modern day that uses the term candy
He uses
ass.
candy ass. But he was sitting and he's talking to Zero and he's in prison and he's beaten up and he just so matter-of-factly shares that story. He's like, well, the first thing you want to make sure that you do is make sure that no one in here thinks you're a candy ass. So you come in here, and his name was Pinky something, and he just kind of goes in. And then also when he's talking to Serge X, and when they're at the monastery, and he's still being very ambiguous and trying to be all coy and shit, and he's just like, God dang it, Serge, spit it the fuck out, and he just goes off.
What the fuck is going on?
I'm like, dude, because I think at that point, I would have that same energy. Like, as
Of
far as
course.
he's gone
Yeah.
to get where he is right now, it's like, dude, just say it. Good God. But yeah, dude, this movie was very entertaining. I'm so glad you suggested it.
Very
Yeah,
much
I'm
so.
glad you
I
guys
have
liked it.
not ever seen a Wes Anderson film. I am familiar with his style only as it has been like mimicked, I think, by other people, or I've seen his trailers, and through the trailers I've seen how distinct his style is. But it does have me excited to go and start to just delve more into his filmography.
Definitely.
And of course, I mean, the man, the person, the reason why we're even here.
Yeah, thank you. No,
Your
it's
final
it's
thought.
one of those really just because thinking about the story too, it's very layered, and it's one of those things that's fun just to kind of pick apart too. Because I mean, being a part of this, I've so rarely been critical, I guess critically thinking about the movies I watch. So it's very fun to like, you know, have been soaking that up in my brain, like your guys' way that you kind of look at things and your views and stuff, and now trying to take it on my own. And it's just, I don't know, it's very fun because it's just a good movie, and it's like, it checks all the boxes. Like it's one of those things. It's very nice. So thanks for having me, guys.
Oh,
thanks for watching Grand Budapest Hotel.
Thank you for suggesting it to us. And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to share them in the comments. Let us know what you thought about Grand Budapest Hotel if you've seen it. And if you've not seen it, I'm pretty sure all three of us highly recommend that you do see it.
Yes.
It is on a variety of different streaming platforms. You do have to pay for it, though.
Yeah. Yep.
If you are not a member of the high seas. That being said,
Just throwing off all the code there. Yeah.
this has been another episode of the soon-to-be world-famous Panharmonicon Studios presents
A podcast.
There we go. That's what we were looking for here.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm glad you did. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you coming here every week and listening. Hope you all know that, and can't say it enough. So thank you for listening. This has been Farron.
This is Damon.
And this is Andrew.
Thank you guys for listening.
Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.
Well, bye.